Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I just forgot my mic.
How are you guys doing today?
Okay.
You guys are going to answer back.
there's no audience here, but I mean,
Hope you actually answered. I'm like, I'm doing really well.
through your
Or
screen,
like, not great.
let us know in the comments.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I just wanted to ask. We are currently in Hamburg.
Oh yeah, but this setup that they saw it last week.
Yeah.
It's my mom's kitchen.
Mm-hmm. So we're filming in Belgium, but we're live in Germany. We're trying to batch a little bit of this content so you guys can have it, and we're not gonna like miss out on weeks when we're gone. So
Yeah,
it is cold here. I miss Austin, but I can't even say that because it's gonna be
it's gonna be
very
freezing.
cold by the time probably this episode comes out.
It's gonna be. I don't know. I saw the weather is going crazy. It's
Yeah.
like so up and down.
And Texas does not know how to handle
You guys want?
anything when it's cold.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, because I saw you have like one day is like in the 60s, and then a couple days later it's like 30, and
Yeah.
sometimes even 20 something. I was like,
It's too
geez,
much like whiplash.
that's
I don't know.
crazy.
That is, yeah, that's ridiculous. But that's right now everywhere's cold except for if you live in Hawaii. And if you do, I actually really envy you, aka my girl Lise. But
I do not envy you because I like seasons.
yeah, but when it's really cold. My hands are cold right now.
At least in Austin it's sunny.
It's true. And at least we have heat.
Yeah. Yeah, some days when it's winter.
I'm saying we have heat
Oh, you
in
mean
our
in the
house.
apartment?
Yes.
Yeah, because it's weird, but in my mom's and my grandma's house, it's like they don't really like to heat up their house very much. And I think it's for money reasons, and so it's kind of it's crazy. That's like something I notice being European and going to the U.S. People in Europe are really, or in Belgium at least. Well, and
Interesting.
even
What's true
like
about them? I don't even
we have
know
friends,
if
so
Germany knows like that though.
Switzerland,
Sure, but let's just talk about them.
and it's like people are really close to their money and don't want to spend it. So
Yeah,
on, well, they do spend it on other things, but not on
like electricity or like
utilities. They don't
utilities.
like that.
Hmm.
It's interesting. I wonder if utilities are pricier here than in the U.S.
If you're from Germany, sorry, if you're from Europe and you listen or watch, let us know if that's like normal for you guys. I'm curious because in the U.S., my African parents do not care. The heat is on the whole time, all day, all night. No one thinks twice about it because we're
Yeah,
African and we're not trying to be cold at all. Billy's
my
house
dad's
is
not like that.
all
It
super
seems
warm.
right.
Yeah, no, because he's married to an African.
Well, Billy's house was cold sometimes.
So she didn't mean to. She was trying to fix it the whole time. She's like, "What the heck?"
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was never her intention to be
It
like,
was
"What's
never
getting it on?"
terrible, but
No, it's interesting.
anyways,
It's just interesting.
Billy, if you listen, I doubt it,
No.
but
But no, I don't know. It's just interesting. But I made it work. I got this heated water bottle. It's keeping me warm.
we're
And
surviving.
we're surviving and thriving. But yeah, anyway, if I wanted to say too, just putting a little precursor in the beginning instead of just maybe throwing it in the end. Um, Group coaching program by this point,
Group mentorship.
group mentorship for relationship anxiety, but it's really a small group mentorship. Um, we are launching soon. Right now, we have it for Saturdays. And by if it changes at all on the date, we'll let you guys know. But right now, it'll be in the link of whatever date it's going to be at. Um, but we are super excited for it. We have more
Yeah.
people who are joining, and we're really pumped just to have just the people we don't even know who are going to be in this group, and we're just really, really excited for what we're going to be going after with this group in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, we have a lot to share. We have a lot of we really like worked on a real like process and a
Mm.
structured process to like have transformation and healing from relationship anxiety.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's very interesting. I'm just you know, I'm I don't want to, yeah, I guess I can say that. I'm impressed by what we've put together because it kind of like it wasn't like, oh, we're gonna come together with something that's gonna make so much sense. No, it was kind of like through coaching people and like talking with people and doing other programs. We realized there's like a common thread, and we
Yeah.
were like, oh, we could probably structure this better.
Yeah.
So we did that, and we're gonna be sharing that for the first time on this mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
And that's gonna be interesting. I'm excited, and it's gonna be obviously good. I'm excited for that, and yeah. Um, Did you want to say like maybe potentially the other time it could be, or
It potentially could be Tuesday as well.
yeah,
Tuesday,
Tuesday or Saturday
Tuesday or
morning?
Saturday.
Because it seems like a lot of people, we thought Saturday morning was a good time, but it seems like a lot of people are actually busy on
They're like
Saturday morning.
contracted on Saturdays, or there's obligations on Saturdays. So maybe a weekday would be different, but that's tentative. We'll know for sure. By the time this is filming, we should, or at least by a couple of days after that, we should know for sure the time and date.
Yeah,
But if you're experiencing relationship anxiety and want freedom, and know like by the end of this year, your goal is to feel so much more confident and happy and content and present in your relationship, like this mentorship will be for you, and we're really excited to help you through this process. So
yeah,
that's your little plug. Um, and we're gonna be so we have for those who don't know, we answer questions like 3 times a week on our platform called
yeah.
Perch. And there's a question that we got asked a couple days ago that we're like, this would be, I think this is good because we don't talk about this relationship anxiety from this lens as much. And so we wanted to kind of bring it up today. It's actually for people who are single and have relationship anxiety, because you can have relationship anxiety and not even know it and then start dating and be like, oh my gosh, it's
Mm,
there. But I think for people who know they have it, you can definitely have it when you're single, and it can keep you from dating at
yeah,
all.
yeah. That's true.
Yeah,
I'd be curious to ask our audience who's single.
sure.
Just do a poll on Instagram
Hmm.
and figure out like who's single or not.
Sure.
I think that could be interesting to see, because maybe it's more than we think.
That might
You
be.
know?
It's totally true. Maybe you guys are just saving it just for future reference, or you broke up with them already and you're like, okay, next time I want to do better. I
Yeah,
don't know, but I do think that you can definitely have it when you're single. I know a lot of people who are single, and I'm going to say this in a couple different ways. There's one way where, let's just say you're in your 30s, you've never dated before, and now you have all of this stuff. That can be one thing. Or you've kind of like dated sort of throughout your life, or maybe you dated a lot or anything, and you're kind of like single and you're like, now I'm kind of really getting in my head about this whole dating process in general. I think that there's kind of different lenses from that, and different reasons as to why you could have relationship anxiety and never have dated at all.
yeah.
Um, but I think that there's this thing I know for me, when I was single, I always felt super weird. I don't know. I just felt really weird around guys. I was super awkward. Or I felt like I was awkward. How about that? I would always tell myself that I was really awkward and tell myself like I'm so weird, or guys probably think I like them. And then if I it's like I'd create the scenario in my head if I was with guy friends,
Mm,
and I would tell myself, I'm like, oh, I'm like laughing at the jokes or just being nice or something. I'll text them super innocently, and then I'll get this thought in my head of like, oh my gosh, you text them too much. They think you like them, and now they're gonna think you're weird, and now they're gonna not want to be around you. And then I'd be like, oh my gosh. And then I'd be so awkward from that moment out with that person, and there was like nothing that could change it. I just could not move past this thought of they probably think I'm so weird and they think I like them and they think that's weird that I like them, and now they're gonna like want to be away from me. And it would happen all the time with a lot of guy friends. And so it's even like not even now. Obviously I'm married, so I have this collection like I'm married, I don't like you, haha.
mm.
But sometimes I can still be awkward around guys because I'm like, I don't know. I'm telling myself I'm awkward around guys. Sorry, I don't
So
want
you're
to say that
scared that
word.
they like you or something?
Not that they like me, but I think I'm just weirded out sometimes. I'm like, oh, how do I like behave? I don't know. Like
Oh,
I sometimes just feel weird of like I don't know. So it's just like a sting. Sometimes it's just like a sting here. I
yeah,
don't know how to move past it at times, and it's not all. Like, if you're my guy friend, I obviously don't have that with you because I otherwise I wouldn't be your friend. Um,
yeah.
but it's this thing, and I've had it for a while, especially when I was single.
Okay. Well, I feel like I had something similar when I was single. Not really anymore, but
Sure.
where like I was scared that like because I'm too nice or whatever, like girls would like me,
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
and I I was scared. I guess I didn't know how to like adjust my behavior,
Sure.
um, because I've man, that sounds so like douchey or whatever, but like girls would like me easily because I was a nice guy and I was a good guy, and sometimes I wasn't even like I was just being a nice person,
Mhm.
and then they would start liking me, and so at some point I was kind of like really cautious around girls, um, especially because of the church I was into, or like dating
Sure.
was forbidden and stuff like that. So, but I wouldn't say that didn't, that didn't really hold me back from like trying to be emotionally invested in a relationship
Mhm.
just because actually being in a relationship, I I didn't do that because I think I had relationship anxiety, and but I wasn't aware of what that was.
Yeah.
And so I never really actually like I did like once. A relationship lasted 2 weeks, anyways, but like step out to really like officially have a relationship with a girl that I liked, who liked me back. I wouldn't do it because of relationship anxiety.
Mhm.
Um, but I was like I said, I wasn't aware it was that.
Sure.
I thought it was God. So
Right. Which, listen, that's relationship anxiety. You didn't know that it
it
was
is,
for sure.
especially if you're single and like you think that like you can't get in a relationship because God is not like with you,
Mhm.
which okay, I don't want to say that God is not with you because that is not true because then that's putting conditions on when God is or is not with you.
Mhm.
When God is actually with you all the time, that's his name, it's Emmanuel, and that means God with us.
Yeah.
And the Bible says that God, nothing can separate us from his love. So even if in the midst of your mistakes, God is with you. He's
Mhm.
always with you. So saying that God is not with you in the relationship you're in or whatever, I don't think that's true. Even theologically,
Mhm.
biblically, it's not accurate because we see multiple times in the Bible that God is with His kids even when they mess up,
Yeah.
um, even when they decide to do something else. But can God tell you like that is not great for you and there's better for you? Yes, God can tell you that. Um, but saying like having this type of anxiety of I don't want to get into a relationship or I'm scared of getting into a specific relationship with a girl we know or sorry I'm speaking from my perspective, that's why I said a girl, but it could be a guy
Mhm.
if you're a girl. um Getting in a relationship with, like, let's say you like someone, um but you haven't disclosed those feelings to that person, you have not discussed that with them, but you like them and you know they're good and you know that there's no red flags or whatever, but you just have this anxious feeling that God is not with you if you get into that relationship, then it sounds like relationship anxiety to me.
Mhm. Mhm.
And obviously I'm speaking for people who are believers right now, because for people who are not believers, I think the anxiety probably sounds different.
Yeah.
It's
It
not
shows
about
up differently.
yeah, it's not about God being with you or not.
It's more like
That's
my intuition
different.
or something like that.
Yeah, maybe you could say your intuition feels like it's the wrong person or whatever. But obviously, it can sound anxiety it sounds so different for so many people.
Mhm.
It can be the voices could be saying so many different things because it
Mhm.
also could be about like long distance.
Hmm.
You're interested in someone, but they live far, and you could have anxiety and be scared that the relationship wouldn't work out because it's long distance.
Right.
That could be also a reason,
It's a
but
lot of different
that's
reasons. Yeah.
just that's really a few examples. There's so many, so.
Hmm. Yeah. And I'll say this too, like if you are um single and you're in this process of how do I show up in a way that people are like you realize you're getting in your head just to even like talk to a boy or talk to a girl or just to even put yourself out there, like that's there's definitely some thoughts that you have about yourself that you're projecting onto the other person, and that's what was happening for me, and that's what I've heard maybe who are single, that's kind of what's happening of, oh my gosh, like when somebody like shows interest in me, I like freak out. Well, why? Like why would you feel like you're freaking out? In that situation, you probably are feeling someone is seeing me and I don't want to be seen because I don't think I'm worthy being to be seen. So
Mm,
I'm freaking out and I like hide and I'm like, oh, or I'll just like turn away or make an insult or like, oh, point them to my other friend. My friend is single, or like just like to get yourself out of the situation. So you're like, please stop seeing me or stop looking at me. There, once you look at me too much or too long, you're going to realize something that I see about myself and that freaks me out, and then you kind of just avoid it. And so that's always like it's an avoidance, right? Like if you are wanting to be in a relationship and you know you want it, you know you want to be married someday, you know what you want, something along the lines of that, but you every time you even have a sort of potential opportunity, you unconsciously sabotage it, well, that's relationship anxiety
Mm.
for sure. Like it's just a different form of it. You don't even have to notice what it's like in a relationship because you never let yourself be in one. You know,
Yeah.
and I think that's a good it's a good like topic to talk about. So we don't we don't talk about it often. And you might be like, I'm good. Like I've never been in relationships. I don't know if I have it or not. Well, if it's one thing if you have been in a relationship just due to choice, right? Like I just don't want to be,
Yeah.
or it's like I know I want it, but I've never ever ever even come close to one. And anytime it even sort of comes close to it at all, I do my thing. I do some
Freak
sort of
out.
avoidance. I freak out internally and I pass it off. Whatever that looks like for you. I think that's a good. It's good. It's something good to look into to
Yeah.
feel like okay, like why do you feel like you're doing that?
Yeah.
And if that's not something that you're working on, you're never going to be in a relationship, right? Because you're never
Yeah.
going to even try to be in one because you're so good at finessing out of it.
Yeah. I feel like that's really common too. It's like, because we hear so many people are still single, and it's like, do you even put yourself out there? Like, do you even like do anything about it? Like, do you actually like, are you actually trying to meet people? Because sometimes it's like, kind of hide behind reasons that they're not with someone yet.
Mm-hmm. I'm so
It's like,
busy.
oh, or just saying like, I don't meet anyone really. Like,
Mm-hmm.
well, do you have a social life? Like, do you like go out, not like party and stuff, but I'm
Yeah,
saying like, do you actually go and meet people? You know, I feel like if you're Christian, it's easy. It's easier, sorry,
quote unquote.
because you go to church, so you can build maybe like a community through church.
Sure.
When you're not Christian, there's
There's
obviously a lot, also
the
other
gym.
opportunities. Yeah,
There's
there's gym, there's whatever,
clubs you can join.
maybe a workplace. I don't even
Yeah.
know. And obviously there's apps, but that's something else. But it works like apps. You can meet someone on apps.
And you can have a lot of relationship anxiety with apps for sure.
But yeah, obviously because it's also overwhelming because it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, like I think for people who are like that, they're probably also stuck because there's also this need for control and for perfection,
Mm-hmm.
because you're trying to find the perfect person, and I think it's hard sometimes especially when you're on those apps, because there's so many people and there's so many things to like compare. Like you can compare this person. Um, but it's like any relationship at any like level. It's if you want to move forward, you have to step out and you have to do it. And even if it's someone, let's say you find someone and you're not sure about them and stuff, well, you can, you got to try, because you won't know until you try. And so even if that you try, you go on the date or whatever, and it doesn't turn out well, you still, it's obviously not like a skill, but it is kind of, but you still learn, you know,
Sure.
you still like practice that dating muscle, I guess.
Yeah.
Or for me, I think the most important to me is not even the dating muscle or whatever. For me, the most important thing that you need to do is to step out
Mm-hmm.
and try.
Yeah.
You know.
And I want to say this too. You've said something that was made my mind swirl a little bit. Um, this is my hypothesis, but I feel like that those who want the most perfection, we'll say, are looking for the most perfect relationship, we'll say even on the apps or just in general. And that's the reason why they're on dating. I just haven't found somebody who meets my standards.
Mm,
I feel like you have the biggest fear of rejection. And that's like, to me, I'm a perfectionist. And the reason I'm a big perfectionist is because I have a huge fear of rejection. I have a huge fear of rejection.
mm,
And I realize that's a huge pattern for a lot of people who are like, I'm just looking for, it's like I keep swiping. And then let's just say somebody like swipes you back and they're kind of like, you find 20 million flaws about this person and then you move on.
mm,
Okay. And you don't even give the person a chance, and then you kind of keep going. You're like, oh, I'm just looking for something specific. My standards are so high and whatever. I
mm,
get it. I totally get that. But I also think that there's something more going on underneath the surface. You're actually way more afraid of what if I actually like this person and then we like each other and then he ends up thinking that I'm actually not that good enough and then they reject me, and that scares me more than to even put myself out there in the first place. I'm just not going to do it. And so
mm,
I'll find so many reasons and so many flaws and so many critiques about the person that I'm like looking at on the apps or seeing at church or seeing at my job that I will never put myself out there.
Mm.
But you're really just afraid of rejection. And I've realized that a lot of you'll never be able to get into a relationship that meets the standards, quote unquote, or actually meets what you want in your heart and want in your life for real if you don't put yourself out there and don't put yourself in a situation where you could risk being rejected, which is so scary. No one wants to be rejected. It feels
Yeah, it
like
sucks.
the worst thing in the world for somebody who really hates it. For fear, it really feels like I would literally, excuse me, I would literally rather like bungee jump than to actually put myself. I wouldn't. I'm
Really?
just
I was gonna
this is all
say
hypothetical.
you
I wouldn't. I hate
skydive.
no, I wouldn't. I would rather like probably be in a cage with two spiders, not like three. I don't know. I don't know.
Why?
Spiders
Why
are worse than
two?
me than snakes.
I hate spiders.
I would
Oh,
rather be in a
spiders are
cage
so
with
much worse.
spiders than to be in a place where I'm like openly rejected. Ooh, like and it feels so like
I'd rather be rejected than be in a cage with
I'm sure,
spiders.
but I hear you. But
I hate
I don't know how
spiders.
much rejection you really have. Like
No,
you might not.
I've had rejection and it was
No, no, no.
terrible.
I'm saying I'm not sure how much you fear it as much as some
Oh,
people. And I think I've gotten a lot better. Hence why I'm married to you. If I was really that afraid
yeah.
of you, I wouldn't have dated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't feel like I've ever okay, yes. When I was a teenager and I was chubby and girls didn't really like me, and I put myself out there, yes, I was a little scared of rejection because not a lot of girls liked me.
Hmm.
So I was like really like when I was doing things with girls, I was really like cautious because I was scared. My girlfriend I had when I was like 13, woo, I remember I was kind of like her second choice.
Hmm.
She like tried with someone else, it didn't work, and then she came to me. I
Hmm.
remember we could, oh dang, wow. I was a rebound. Oh my gosh. I just realized I was a rebound because
Oh.
she was with a guy and then they broke up. And then, like, a couple days after, I actually moved on. At that point, I like moved on. And then a couple days later, she like called me
Hmm.
and she's like, said she wanted to try with me.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
I was 13. I
Revelation.
wasn't aware. It was the weirdest relationship ever. She didn't really want to be with me. She didn't hang out with me. She like was sending me people to talk to me. You know, I don't know if
Oh
you know
yeah,
what I
I know
mean. Like
exactly what you
she was
mean.
like, oh, and then someone's like, oh, so she's saying this, and then I was like trying to just getting hugs and then a little kiss, and like when I see her when I leave. Wow, interesting. Interesting. Anyways, that's very sad. Wow, it makes me sad a little bit.
It's
Dang.
okay, baby.
Ah, man. Yeah, rejection sucks. But listen, yeah, it's it's like business. You know, if you're selling yourself, you have to be okay with getting some no's.
Mm.
But that's also why you have to make dating not high stakes. And I think
Yeah,
because and
exactly.
then that's another thing too that we're going into with single people who are anxious about dating. It's because you're making dating so high stakes.
So high stakes.
Because I was doing that too. Because for me, like in my church, it's like if you date someone, better be sure you're gonna marry them.
Yep.
And so it's like, oh my gosh, like I need to date the best person ever. But then obviously I grew up and got wiser and broke off those toxic like teachings that I was receiving, and I realized, oh, dating is to figure out if I like someone or not,
Mm.
not figure out if I'm gonna marry someone.
Right.
Because that's
Right.
obviously when you're Christian, you want to marry someone, and you're not dating for fun.
Mm.
I do think that you need to have the vision of marriage, but you don't like. I strongly disapprove, or I strongly like advise you to not go on your first date and wonder about marrying the person you just met,
Mm-hmm.
because that is, man, that's going to bring so much anxiety to or so much pressure on you, and I think you probably going to make that person run away too.
Right. And this makes sense because I think if you let's just say you're older, whatever that even means to you. Let's just say you haven't dated at all, and now you're wanting to date like in your late 20s, early 30s, something like that. There is something in your mind that says, I have not dated before. I kind of have to make this one count,
Mm.
and ideally, this one needs to work. Because if this doesn't work, I'm just starting now. I feel like I'm behind,
Yeah.
and I feel like I'm not at the place where most people are at, and they're gonna think I'm weird, and they're gonna think I'm awkward, and they're gonna notice that I'm out of touch in how to do this or something. And it's kind of like because you haven't dated before, and especially if you're in, I feel like in a church community, we do make dating so high stakes. I know that we're trying to not, and I'm so thankful that we are. But when one person dates, it kind of is like, oh my, everyone just freaks out, especially if you
Yeah.
haven't dated before. And everyone's like, finally, you're finally dating. Oh my gosh, we've been waiting for you. And like, they make it this big thing.
Mm.
And then it's kind of like, oh my gosh, like, what if, and
Can't
now
feel
now
that.
I'm publicly going to get humiliated if it doesn't work,
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I don't want to go through all of that until I know for sure that this is potentially the person I'm going to marry.
Yeah.
And then you go into a date thinking this is like, if I'm going out with you, this means we're probably gonna have to make this work at least for a couple months. In your head, you might not actively be saying that, but you're saying that inside of like, everyone knows I'm moving on this date.
Yeah.
I've never dated before, or I haven't dated in a long time. I have to make this work.
That's interesting. Yeah, I never thought of that like that. That's true. But yeah, that's interesting.
I'm just thinking about somebody right now. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh dang, I bet that's probably how
Putting pressure
people could
on
be
them.
thinking. Yeah, because
But
it's
even though
just
you're just trying to be like nice,
you're just trying to be
and like celebrate.
supportive,
Yeah.
exactly. But then it's just like you can't make it a big deal. I think we could do that at times, just as out of celebration, as you're saying,
Yeah.
of friendships or family or whoever. But it's putting this more stuff on, and not like unintentionally,
Yeah.
but they are putting it on themselves too.
I think obviously it depends on how long you've been dating. The person's been dating that person for 6+ months. I think it's fair to think that it's serious.
Sure,
You know?
and I think it's getting to a hump. If they even make it
Yeah.
6 months already, then it's going to feel
Yeah.
potentially more less stakes,
Yeah.
high stakes but less stakes.
I
But I think
think
it's getting there.
dating is definitely a weird stage to me because like the longer you date, the higher the stakes get.
Mm.
I do think that. I do believe that.
Sure,
Because I don't think you can compare a couple that's been dating for 9 months with someone who's going on their first date.
sure,
I
sure.
I think that obviously here we're talking about people who are single and who are trying to date.
Mm.
There basically you need to stop thinking about the high stakes phase of the relationship because you will never get there if you think that
Mm-hmm.
just asking someone out is high stakes
Mm-hmm.
and you're scared of that type of rejection. You won't get to the relationship you want to have if
Mm.
you're not if you think like that at some point. You want to find someone,
Yeah.
you don't want to be 50 and and I've been single your whole life, but you
Unless
know
you want, obviously, if you want to be single, it's different. But I'm
yeah.
assuming you're probably not listening to us if you want to
And
be
obviously, so
single.
if you're 50 and you're single, I'm not throwing shade at you or
No,
like
yeah,
I'm not trying to like say anything because it's never too late. It's
no,
never too late. I do want to say that it's never too late. But I think also most of our audience is like young adults,
sure.
so that's why I'm saying that. But yeah, don't you're worrying too much about the future, but that's mostly anxiety in general, anyways. You're just worrying so much about a potential future that doesn't exist, but exists only in your head, that you don't even like step out to the next phase of a potential relationship you could have, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, try to see the future through, a better light, have a more, a better, a positive,
Positive.
wow, sorry, positive. No, if I want to say it positive, I can say it positive, because I speak French. Um, Positive light, a positive potential of what might happen, because Joy was the third, as a mature Christian, I think you were the third like girl I tried to date. The first one I got rejected. The second one I did not get rejected, but it pretty much felt like that because really she didn't want to be with me. But I stopped the relationship because I felt that. So I tried and it didn't work, and it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fun, but now I'm married and like now I'm happy, and and it's been a journey, but it is what it is, and
Yeah.
that's just, if you're afraid of failure in any way, relationships, business, like whatever you do in general, whatever project you want to do, whatever desire you have in your heart, if you're afraid to fail and that's what's stopping you, then you're never gonna get anywhere,
Yeah.
and you're always gonna be at the same place, and you're just gonna be stuck in where you're at, and
Right.
that's just sad, because we see people like that, and I've been around people like that, and it's sad because I strongly believe that as a human being, like your life needs to grow, and you need to grow better and better and go from glory to glory.
Yeah.
But that only happens for people who are, you know, courageous enough to step out and do the things they want, and not worry about if they're going to fail or not.
Mm.
Because you might have 10 failures, but you have one that's going to be successful, and that one is going to mark the rest of your life.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. I do know that like the fear of failure can feel very scary. But you're saying like, oh yeah, you're the third person I've ever dated, ever. And I don't say as a mature Christian, but like you're the third person I ever dated in my whole life.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Um,
She's so innocent.
okay.
She's crazy.
But I'm just saying, like you know, the first two were the first one was horrible. The second one was so short, and then I was like, okay, whatever. Now I'm with you, and it worked. And I think at that point, God was taking me through this whole journey of how much do I trust Him,
Hmm.
which was very scary for me. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I trust you in this, but I'm gonna like go through this journey with you, and I'm so thankful that I said yes
Yeah,
again because I think not like I was so burned. There's only two people, but you know what I mean. But I think I was kind of feeling like I'm just going to grad school. I'm going to go and travel to Europe for a month. I feel really good and I feel
yeah,
really content, and I'm excited just to like do the season alone and just like be happy with it. And then I had like 13 roommates that I love so much. Like I was living life really really well.
yeah.
And then like you kind of came,
Hmm.
and I think from that process it was just like, okay, you never know how many times it's going to take for you to find that person, but you can't just fall flat on your face and then be like, I'm done. Like I tried it and it was not for me.
Yeah,
If it's a desire in your heart, then it's going to happen. It might take however long it's going to take, but you don't give up, and know how you're perceiving yourself in this process.
yeah, yeah. Now, obviously, like it's fair that there will be a time after rejection that you need to process and you need to like
Yeah.
stop for a little bit, and there's gonna be times where you're gonna feel like giving up,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, it I mean, it is what it is, and at that point, if you need, you surround yourself with friends, surround yourself with a community of people who are supportive and can help you through that process. But that's also why we need to not make dating so high stakes,
Yeah.
because when you attach so much expectations to a relationship that you just started, because and I want to, so I don't want to have say like stereotypes or stuff like that, but girls can easily like um, dream fast about like a potential relationship.
Mm.
When I hear you and your friends, sometimes I hear things and I'm like, it's a guy you barely talked with, and you have this whole fantasy about that person, and then you get rejected, and it's hard. And I'm like,
Because you're
okay,
moving 3 steps ahead. Yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
yeah. I'm like, okay, well, it's cute that you did that. It's cute that you were dreaming and stuff, but slow down. Like, actually, where are you, like, with that person for
For
real?
real. Yeah. Do not allow your heart to go further than any action that has taken place. And when you're on your first date, that's where your heart needs to be. Nothing more. You guys are not going to start dating. You guys are not going to get married. You're just on your first date, and that's all you can place your heart at the point.
Hmm.
Because if you jump 10 steps, the rejection is going to be even harder. Exactly what you're saying, and then it's going to be harder to want to go to the next step. Of like, I had
Yeah,
this whole fantasy, and then it's gone because we jumped too quickly. So
yeah,
you got to really guard your heart in this process and have fun. Like
yeah,
you know what I mean. Like if you're not having fun and just kind of making it low stakes, have fun, not jumping 20 steps, you're going to be fine. And you're going to have a good time and you're going to get more experience. And the more you get more experience, the more you're going to be able to figure out what you like and what you don't like and what makes sense for you, what doesn't make sense for you. You have the freedom to figure out this process, but you have to let yourself do it.
and you'll learn so much too. Like, I learned so much from the failures. Um, and I would not take it back because I feel like I've matured so much, and I think you can attest to that too with like my past history and like just having a growth oriented mindset with those things.
Yeah.
I grew so much from it, and I realized what I wanted and what I didn't want, like you said. Because I was with a girl who wanted to have a farmer lifestyle, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a farmer with you. But no, I can. Oh my
It's not
gosh,
even you at all. That's
no,
so
I can never
funny.
be. I can never have
You hate it.
just picking up the logs outside to put in
Oh
my
my
mom's
gosh.
fireplace. I'm like scared that there was a spider in it or something.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, that's not it.
So that's not helpful.
Yeah. But yeah, we hope this episode was helpful. We hope that this was good. I think I like looking through the questions. We have a lot of questions in the backlog, so it's nice to look through
Yeah,
that for content too. So,
yeah.
um, again, group coaching program, group coaching mentorship. Sorry, if you are interested, link will be below. If you like this episode, don't forget to share. You said
Share, subscribe, review, like, comment, wherever platform you're on, listening or watching. There's a lot of things you can do to support us.
yeah,
And honestly, it would really appreciate. Sorry, wow, we would really appreciate it because we're doing this for free, taking time to do this, and we really try to be helpful and consistent. So we would love to have your support.
yeah. Love you all, and we'll talk to y'all next week. We'll be
Yeah.
back in Belgium by the time you see us again. So, love
Thank
y'all. Have a good rest
you.
of your day. Bye.
Bye.